Well, hi there and welcome to Old Testament 301 exam preparation. This is a video tutorial which is designed to help you in preparation for your exam. I expect that many of you at the moment may feel a little like the cartoon figure on the screen there, and you have beside you your textbook, a whole bunch of learning guides from the various modules of study, the PowerPoints that I provided, the video introductions, but you're still wondering where on earth do I begin? Let me suggest to you the best place to begin is to go back and look at the exam requirements that are set out for you in the unit guide for this subject. You'll see immediately there that the exam is a 2-hour exam, and as you come to do the exam, please make sure that you come well prepared with all that you will need, and that would include, if you're doing the exam externally, an unmarked Bible, but also at least a couple of pens in case one of them runs out along the way. Will you please take notice of point number 1 there though? Students are required to study all the material covered in the unit with the exception of module number 9. This of course was focused on the theme of the covenant, which was covered off in your research assignment, so we will not be asking questions in regard to the theme of the covenant in this exam. But all other 12 modules of study that are involved in OT301 will be there to be examined. The examination will be structured as follows. You'll see section A will contain a compulsory section made up of short answer questions, and these will essentially be either 1 or 2 word answers. It may be on a couple of occasions, it might be a short paragraph, but they will not be essay type questions. And this is essentially just to try to cover off on some of the key information that we would be expecting you to be familiar with in the study that you've done in Old Testament to this point. Section B is also a compulsory section. It's made up of 4 short essay type questions, and here again you'll have the opportunity now to write a little more. The essay will be written on the exam paper. There'll be lined paper there, and we'll be looking for you to write anything between half a page and a full page in response to each of those 4 short questions. Section C will give you the opportunity then of selecting 1 out of 3 elective longer essay questions, and so you'll need to have a look at the 3 questions, decide which one you know the most about, and that will be the one that you write on. And again, we're looking for you to handwrite your answers on lined paper, which will be included at the back then of your exam paper. If you are studying at distance, please make sure that you take to the exam some lined paper that you have ready so that you can actually write on that. You'll notice point number 3 indicates that students will need to have access to an unmarked standard Bible. For those who are studying here on campus or doing their exam on campus, we will provide you with an NIV Bible, but it will be an unmarked Bible. That is to say, there will be no cross-references, no footnotes, and no study notes in the Bible. For those who are doing the exam at distance, can I please make it very clear to you again that you will need to make sure that you have a Bible like that, with no cross-references, no footnotes, and no study notes in it. A little note down the bottom, you'll also see there that the examination may include any, but not necessarily all, of the syllabus topics. Obviously, in a 2-hour exam, we may not be able to cover off on everything, but you certainly will need to have made sure that you have studied all of the 12 modules that are available for us there for this exam. Now here is your opportunity to see a sneak peek of the exam paper itself, and on the front cover you'll notice there that it provides for 10 minutes perusal time, and that simply is an indication of 10 minutes that you have to look over the paper before you actually start to write. Please make the most of this time. Read carefully through the questions. If you want to jot down some notes for yourself, you can do that, but please don't do it on the exam paper. Jot down any notes you may wish to make on some scrap paper in that 10 minutes perusal time. As previously indicated, the exam then goes for 2 hours, and you will see that it is marked out of 60. The whole paper itself is with 60% of the overall semester's mark, and so the following information sets out how those marks will be allocated. You'll see there that there are 3 sections to the exam. Section A there will be 14 short questions, and the total marks for those 14 short questions will be 20 marks. So obviously some of those questions will be worth more than just 1 mark. Section B, you'll see that there are 4 questions worth 5 marks each, giving a total of 20 marks for Section B, and they will be shorter paragraph type writing exercises in which you will try to give us as much information as you are able on the question topics that are provided. Section C, again you'll choose 1 out of 3 of the questions on the paper, and you'll answer just 1, but it will be worth 20 marks, and again the exam paper will indicate how many pages of writing we are expected from you in that regard. Please note down the bottom where it says Section A and B are to be answered on the exam paper, Section C is to be answered on the provided paper. Now that is just A4 lined paper. If you are doing your exam at distance, then please take some A4 lined paper with you, and at the very end make sure that all of that is stapled together with your exam paper. One of the questions that often comes up for students is, how do I actually go about doing my revision? And so here are some revision techniques which I think may prove to be helpful for you. The first thing I would do is I would review the overview and introductory videos for each module. You'll remember that in just about every module we've had some brief video introduction, the video introduction that I have provided, but also then the cartooned video introduction to each of the books that we've been studying in the Old Testament to this point in time. They're very helpful videos because they help you rehearse in your mind the overall structure and flow of each of the books, and also the major theological themes which emerge from them. Read back over your module learning guides then and work through the PowerPoints. The PowerPoints in many ways provide a much more succinct summary of the material that is covered in the learning guides. And along the way I find it helpful perhaps to make a list of the key people and places. Key people like Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, of course, to rehearse for yourself where those people were and where God led them. Of course, we start off with the long journey from Abraham, don't we? Starting off in Ur of the Chaldees till he finally makes his way into the promised land. It's also helpful to make a list of the key dates and events that happen along the way. And this is important to try and understand the overall flow of the narrative story that begins to unfold as we're journeying through the Old Testament. Then make a note of the major divisions and makeup of each of the books that we're studying. This can be helped very simply by going back over some of those introductory videos, and also the overall picture that I've provided in each case that gives you a graphic image of the overall breakup of each of the books. But then not only that, I suggest to you that you make some kind of dot point summary of each of the books that are studied. What are the major movements in the book? What are the major issues that are being covered in each of the books? And then finally work your way through the quick quizzes that are associated with most of the modules. You'll find that some of the last few modules I haven't got quick quizzes, but where they are available, please make the most of those too. Now, in terms of your time management, can I simply suggest to you that it's a good idea to set yourself a timetable for your revision. For some of you, you might decide, I'm going to cover off on the 12 modules over 12 successive days in the lead up to the exam, and I'm going to set aside however many hours to cover off on each module. That's not a bad way to go. As you're doing that though, please make sure that you set aside some small breaks along the way. 5 to 10 minutes every hour is probably a good idea, and in that 5 to 10 minute break, get up, walk around, have something to eat, something to drink, and allow your mind to be cleared before you go back to doing the study again. Well, I want to say it's been a pleasure to have you with us in this journey over this last number of weeks, and I will be praying for you in your preparation and looking forward to the opportunity of seeing your work as you submit it with your final exam. Please make sure that you try to provide for me as much written information as you can, so that I get the clearest possible idea of how much you have understood and retained of this unit of study. May God bless you.